It's been a couple of months since the new trophy system was added on. And in that time, many people have already pushed their favorite characters, moi je. I, among others, managed to level up several third prestiges. But since you saw the title of this video, it means not all is rosy with the new trophy system. And I'm not talking about anti-tricksters here or about trophies being devalued. Oh, I know, third prestige is the default, and in general, bring back rank 35. The prestige system has much more serious problems that directly depend on the mechanics introduced with the rework, ranging from bugs to burdens and serious vulnerabilities that make leveling up to third prime and beyond much easier than Supercell originally intended. I've saved the worst for last, so be sure to watch to the end. Let's start with something a bit more straightforward. Remember when there was a bug in the first days after the rework, where you'd enter trophyless mode, lose a couple of times, and then enter a ladder, only to be matched against bots? This way you could easily level up your second prestige. The bug was quickly fixed, but a hole remained, allowing you to still enter a bot lobby and still gain trophies. The problem is, the game has a dual mode. And as we know, trophies earned or lost in this mode are divided equally among each of the 3 characters. So if in a regular 3-player game you lose, for example, -9 trophies, then in duels you'll lose -3, but per character. And that's precisely the exploit. To do this, you need to put characters with low trophies in the first 2 slots, and one you want to level up in the third. Then, you lose 3 games in a row, then enter a duel against bots on the desired character and reclaim your trophies. But you can also turn a profit thanks to a win streak, since after a loss in duels, it only resets on the first character. Gordo. Want to level up for summer and buy yourself a Brawl Pass? Then Market Truck will help you achieve your ideal gaming form. Here, you can buy beefs and gems at the best prices. There are products for hundreds of games and services, including Brawl Stars. Select the desired category, in my case Brawl Pass, and see a ton of different offers. Bachate. A regular Brawl Pass can be purchased for just 879 rubles and BPP Plus for 1,199. Pay using any convenient method such as a card or SBP, and in a couple of minutes the Brawl Pass will be in your account. You can also buy keys, in-game currency, donations, stars in Telegram, and anything else you want at the best prices on Market Rock. And with the promo code Sunron, you can top up your Steam account completely commission-free. But if studying is keeping you from leveling up, Rock has subscriptions to any neural network that will help you pass your exams quickly and easily. Become a true machine with Rock, the best place for gamers. The link is in the description and pinned comment. And don't forget my promo code SUNDRAGON. While I was losing the third prestige with 3 fighters in duels, they even managed to introduce a bug in the animation. I often encountered guys who gave up the game precisely to take advantage of this drawback. But of course, this will only work until the second prestige, because after that, bots are no longer thrown known. And the solution to this problem is obvious for the developers. They can make it so that the win streak in duels affects all 3 fighters. Then there will be no opportunity to profit from the win streak. Alternatively, you could remove bots at the first prestige and only leave them at -1000. Well, honestly, I don't understand the point of throwing a bot at a level where there are already more or less experienced players. But the next bug works with any trophies, making third prestige much easier than the supers. Intended. You've probably encountered opponents with a huge difference in trophies per fighter. Here, for example, the difference is 2000 trophies. That's 2 entire prestiges. Of course, matchmaking isn't currently based on trophies, because as Supercell said, they've added a hidden MMR rating for MMA. This means that matchmaking is trying to find opponents not based on your trophies per fighter, but on skill level. But it's time to admit that the current MMR system is very flawed. If you started with a character at first prestige after a trophy rework and started pushing them to second prestige quietly, slowly, without a care in the world for pencils, then even though trophy shouldn't affect matchmaking, you'll still be matched against opponents with relatively equal trophies. Well, at most with a difference of 300-400 trophies. But the situation changes dramatically when you pick a character with 0 trophies or low trophies like 300, 500, elite. And if you start pushing such a character very quickly, racking up, say, more than 1,000 trophies on them in one go, you'll notice how the MMR system gradually goes crazy. For example, with Demian, I pushed him straight from 0 to 2nd Prime in about 5 hours. And if you look at the battle log, it's clear to the naked eye that even with 1,800 and 1,000 trophies, I'm literally matched with players with 800, 600, and 700 trophies every single time. That's a difference of over 1,000 trophies every single game. And these players are matched against both my team and the enemy team. And those who watched the extreme where I pushed Demian to his 3rd Prime might also have noticed that with 2,900 trophies, I'm matched with players with 2,100, 2,000, and even 1,600. And most importantly, with such a high trophy count, matchmaking was either instantaneous or took 15-20 seconds at most. Now, 2 weeks after pushing on the same Demian, who has exactly 3,000 trophies, I'm entering matchmaking on the same mode at the same time of day and timing how long it takes to find a match form. For me. It took 2.12 minutes to get me into a match. On another stream where I pushed Demian, the last game before the 3rd prestige was found in 16 seconds. I haven't started any new matches on Demian since then, meaning in a match that literally follows the previous one, but with a 2-week gap, the matchmaking lasted almost 9 times longer, and the opponents had 2,100 trophies, so the difference is minimal. Yes, the guys here have 2,100, but that's only because the 3 of them were playing in a party, and Demian and Baz from my team also played in a party. And in a party, matchmaking works based on the strongest player. And now I'll show you another example on Sirius. He appeared when the new system had just come out, and I didn't push him right away, but gradually. But I reached the 2nd Prime in 3 days, and it was more difficult then than now. Well, so I played quite a lot of matches. Now I'm taking the same Sirius again, who has exactly the 2nd prestige. I go into the match and wait almost 3 minutes for the match. That's even longer than with Demian at the 3rd Prime. Now let's see what kind of opponents he throws at me. 2,800, again 2,800, another 2,800, again 2,800, then of course 2,800, and for the final test, let's take some other fighter at the same 2nd Prime, for example 8-bit. 8-bit, I've been pushing him since the 1st Prime, and I did it quite easily thanks to a bug in the jam. Note that he has exactly the same number of trophies as on Sirius, but the matchmaking only lasted half a minute, and the next match was found instantly, and the trophy spread is significantly smaller. 2,000, 2,400, and then 2,000 again, just. So, you're not getting 2,800 trophies every match like Sirius did, Cesatachilius did. Of course, I didn't just show these examples. Based on what I've just demonstrated, several conclusions can be drawn. First, the hidden MMR rating is practically unrelated to your profile. Instead, the game calculates a unique MMR for each of your fighters. This means you can have 2 fighters with the same trophy count, but one will be quicker and easier to match with while the other will take longer and be more difficult. Second, the accuracy of the MMR calculation depends on how many times you've played a character. If you've been pushing almost unchallenged, there will be less data, meaning your MMR will fluctuate wildly, which could result in opponents being either too easy or too difficult, but most likely too easy, and I'll explain why soon. But if the push was tough, you've been going through ups and downs, and you've barely climbed the trophy ladder, then naturally you'll have played more matches and there's more data. Therefore, MMM starts matching players around your skill level. I demonstrated this with Sirius and Bit. And thirdly, and most importantly, for some reason, the MMR on a brawler doesn't update immediately. This means if you push a 0 brawler too quickly, you'll be facing weak opponents, even high trophies. But if you take a break for a couple of days, your MMR will update, and your opponents will become stronger, as was clearly evident in the Demian example. This is essentially a bug, and it shouldn't happen at all. This bug makes 3rd Prestige a breeze, so the developers urgently need to fix the MMR so it updates immediately on fighters. But this bug is nothing compared to what I'm about to show you. Before that, I'll tell you that I'm running a giveaway on my Telegram channel for 3 free BAVPs plus a link in the description plus a link in. So, I recently received this guy's profile. It seems like a normal profile, a 3rd fang rule, nothing out of the ordinary. Now let's take a look at his so-called 3rd prime push. As you can see, our Fang pusher is sweating hard, standing AFK at spawn just like his opponent. Meanwhile, 2 of Aang's other teammates, or rather 1 player from 2 accounts, are helping him push the most legitimate 3rd prime guy. Naturally, I was curious how it works. I checked his lock-on fights. As you can see, he faces a single account with a 3rd prime in every single game, and they're in a stalemate with 2 0-level accounts. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that these are all accounts from the same person using them to snipe themselves at Iglesi. And since you can't drain prestige on dollar accounts, it's possible to boost trophies. Wasahu. And of course this person sells those boosts this way for money. Funniest thing is, it's not even a bug. It's simply an abuse of the prestige mechanic itself. This is probably simply due to the presence of non-volatile funds and the lack of trophy resets. I've already mentioned this, but I'll say it again. Supercell should remove non-volatile funds and add at least some kind of trophy reset, because if this doesn't happen soon, trophies and prestige will become worthless due to these burdens, as they like to say on TikTok. A quote. And while we're on the subject of the new trophy system's shortcomings, I'd like to point out a couple more annoying points. One of them is the extremely clunky and uninformative profile. You can't quickly see the trophies on all your fighters. You have to click on each fighter individually, then check them, also them. You also can't, for example, view their power level as was previously possible. The fighters themselves are difficult to distinguish and find because of their uniform color scheme. The previous menu, while clunky, allowed you to immediately spot the character you needed. Another annoying thing is when you invite someone to your team and can't see their exact trophy count, because the counter resets every 1,000 trophies and there's no visual indicator of prestige in the room. That's in the room. So sit there and guess what your teammate's prestige is. 1st, 2nd, or even 3rd, or go to their profile and try to find that fighter there. I understand that trophies are visually reset, since that's the whole point of prestige, but it's just plain inconvenient. For example, in the battle header, the full trophy count is displayed. Why they couldn't do the same in the lobby is beyond me. The prestige concept was brilliant, but the implementation was a bit lacking. If Supercell fixes the aforementioned issues and bugs, the trophy situation will improve direct behave. Let me know in the comments what you think about the prestige bugs. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube and Telegram channel, where a contest is currently running for 3 free BP+. As for me, I'm off to get Twin to level up my 3rd prestige against newbies.